The colony of Verdra was quiet and peaceful, far away from the wars and chaos of the galaxy. Its people worked hard, growing food and mining small resources. They lived simple lives, trusting each other. But today, something new came to Verdra. Stranger. No one knew where he came from. He moved with calm steps, wearing a dark cloak and a mask that covered his whole face except his sharp eyes. His name was Kale. When he first arrived, some people looked at him with suspicion. Why did he hide his face? What was he hiding? But Kyle did not speak much. He only nodded politely and helped when he was needed. Life in Verdra was usually safe. But the colony was not far from a dangerous place known as the Deathworld. The Deathworld was a wild, violent planet filled with monsters and deadly storms. People said the Deathworlders, those who lived there, were stronger and tougher than anyone else in the galaxy. They kept their secrets hidden and never trusted outsiders. Rumors about the Deathworlders spread through the colony like wildfire. Some said the Deathworlders wore masks to hide their true faces. Others said they could break trees with their bare hands and survive wounds that would kill a normal person. The people of Verdra often told stories around fires, warning their children not to go near the Deathworld. Kale did not talk about his past or where he came from. He wore his mask all the time, even in the bright daylight. People grew curious, but no one dared to ask. Yet they all agreed on one thing: Kale was different. There was something quiet but strong about him. He moved with a confidence that few had. One afternoon, the calm of the colony broke. Strange noises came from the forest around Verdra. At first it was soft, like branches breaking or leaves rustling. Then came the growls, low and threatening. The animals of the forest usually kept away from the colony, but now something was coming closer. The people of Verdra gathered quickly. Their hands gripped tools and weapons, ready to defend their home. Children were brought inside, doors were locked, and lights shone into the darkening forest. Kyle stood at the edge of the colony, looking into the trees. His eyes were steady, unafraid. No one could tell if he was worried or calm. The others whispered nervously, "What is he? Why is he not afraid?" Suddenly, a shadow moved fast between the trees. A creature, large and dark, with glowing eyes. It roared loudly, a sound that shook the ground. The colony's defenders raised their weapons and shouted warnings. But the creature did not come closer. It stayed at the border, watching. More shadows appeared, circling the colony like hungry wolves. Panic started to grow among the people. Some ran to the center of the colony, some prayed silently, but Kyle did not move. A young guard named Laura approached Kyle, her voice shaking. "Who are you really? Why do you wear that mask? Can you help?" "Us," Kale turned to her slowly. "I am here to protect," he said quietly. "But I must be careful. Not everyone is ready to see what I really am." The creatures moved closer. Suddenly, one jumped over a low wall and attacked a guard. The fight was quick and brutal. The guard was hurt badly before the others could drive the creature away. Kyle stepped forward. Without saying a word, he moved like lightning. His hand struck the air, and the creature flew back, crashing into a tree. The shadow disappeared quickly into the dark. The people stared in surprise. Kale's strength was more than normal. His calm power sent a message. He was not just a stranger. He was something else, something from the Deathworld legends. But Kale did not remove his mask. He only said, "This is only a small part of what I can do. If you want to live, trust me and follow my lead." The colony leaders gathered quickly. They decided to let Kale help defend Verdra. Some were still afraid of him, but the attacks were not stopping. That night, under the cold stars, Kale stood alone outside the colony walls. The forest was silent, but Kale's eyes scanned the dark. He knew the shadows were waiting, watching. Inside, people whispered about the masked stranger. Was he a hero, or was he something dangerous? No one could tell. Kale touched the edge of his mask and whispered to himself, "The mask must come off soon. The true fight is about to begin." He turned back to the colony and prepared himself. Whatever came next, Kale was ready to show his true power. The night fell heavy over Verdra. The stars shone cold and distant above the quiet colony. Inside the small homes, families tried to sleep, but fear did not let them rest. The strange attacks from the forest had everyone on edge. Kale walked through the colony streets, his masked face hidden in the shadows. The villagers gave him space, unsure if they should trust this stranger with the hidden power. Yet everyone hoped he could protect them from the dark dangers lurking outside. Commander Laura, still shaken from the day's fight, met Kyle near the colony's center. "The creatures are not ordinary," she said quietly. "They are fast, strong, and clever. This is more than just wild animals." Kyle nodded slowly. "These are Deathworlders' scouts," he said. "They watch us, waiting for a chance to attack. But they do not know I am here." Laura's eyes widened. "You mean you have fought Deathworlders before?" Kale did not answer directly. Instead, he stared toward the forest, where dark shapes moved between the trees like silent ghosts. Suddenly, the colony's alarm bell rang, a sharp, loud sound that cut through the night. The creatures had started their attack again. People rushed outside, grabbing whatever weapons they had. The shadows from the forest grew closer. Glowing eyes appeared between the branches, and low growls filled the air. Kyle stood at the front, calm and ready. He removed one side of his mask, revealing a scarred but strong face. His eyes glowed faintly in the moonlight. The colonies. People gasped. This was the first time they saw his true face. With a deep breath, Kale spoke. "They think we are weak. They think we will run, but we stand and fight." He raised his hand, and a strange light spread from his fingers. The creatures hissed and circled, but they did not attack yet. They seemed afraid of Kale's power. The battle began. Kale moved like a shadow, fast and deadly. With each strike, he sent creatures flying back into the dark forest. The colonies. Defenders fought bravely behind him, gaining strength from Kale's courage. But the creatures were many. For every one they defeated, two more took its place. The ground shook as the fight grew louder, and the colony's walls started to crack under the pressure. At one point, a giant creature broke through the defenses. It roared and charged toward the colony's food stores. If it succeeded, the colony would starve. Kale saw this and shouted to Laura, "Stop it! Now!" Without hesitation, Kale sprinted after the beast. He jumped high, landing on its back. The creature tried to shake him off, but Kale held tight. With a powerful strike, Kale drove his hand into the creature's side. It howled and fell to the ground, shaking the earth. The colony cheered, but Kale knew the fight was far from over. As the battle died down, Kale turned to the people. "Tonight was just a test. They will come again, and stronger." Laura approached him, worry in her eyes. "What do we do now? How can we protect ourselves?" Kyle looked at the dark forest. "We prepare. We learn the truth about the Deathworlders, and about me." He lowered his voice. "There is more to my story than you know, and soon the mask will come off." The colony's people listened, their fear slowly turning into hope. Kyle was not just a stranger, he was their protector, and maybe the key to surviving the coming storm. Under the stars, the colony waited, knowing the real battle was still ahead. The next morning, the colony was quiet. The sun rose slowly, casting soft light over the damaged walls and trampled ground. The people worked to fix what the creatures had broken, but many eyes watched Kale with a new curiosity, and some with fear. Kale stayed away from the crowds. He needed time to think. The mask covered most of his face, hiding the scars and secrets beneath. But inside, his mind raced. He knew the Deathworlders better than anyone. He was once like them, born on a harsh, dangerous world where only the strongest survived. The mask was not just a cover, it was a shield, a way to hide who he truly was. Kyle walked to the edge of the colony, near the tall trees that hid the dark forest. He looked deep into the green shadows and remembered the past. Years ago, Kale's home planet was destroyed by a great war. He lost everything, his family, his friends, and his name. To survive, he learned to hide his true self. He wore the mask to protect others from fear. and to protect himself from enemies. Now on this peaceful colony, Kale hoped to find a new life, but the attacks told him that his past was not done with him. Suddenly a soft voice called from behind. "Kale, may I speak with you?" Kyle turned to see Laura, the colony's commander. Her face was serious but kind. "I want to understand," she said. "Why do you hide? What are you really hiding beneath the mask?" Kyle hesitated but saw the trust in her eyes. Slowly he lifted the mask just enough to show a small part of his face, scarred with one glowing eye. "I am from a death world," he said quietly. "A place where life is harsh and brutal. The mask is a part of me, a symbol of my past and my strength, but it also hides the pain I carry." Laura stepped closer. "We all carry pain, Kale. But here, you don't have to hide. We can help." Kale looked at the people rebuilding the colony walls and felt a strange warmth. Maybe this was a chance to heal, but before he could say more, a loud alarm echoed through the colony. Everyone froze. "This is not over," Laura said, her voice tight. "The creatures are coming back." Kyle's eyes narrowed. He knew the attacks would get worse. The Deathworlders were testing them, and testing him. He looked at Laura. "We must prepare, but first I need to find out why these creatures are here. Something is drawing them." Together, Kale and Laura gathered a small team. They would enter the dark forest, the place no one dared go, and search for answers. As they stepped into the thick trees, the air grew colder. Strange sounds whispered around them, and shadows seemed to move just out of sight. Kyle led the way, his senses sharp. He could feel the eyes of the Deathworlders watching, waiting. Suddenly, they found strange markings on the trees, symbols from Kale's home world. "This is a warning," Kale said. "They want us to know something." Just then, a low growl sounded behind them. The forest grew silent. Kyle turned slowly, ready for the fight, but what stepped out of the shadows was not a creature. It was a message that would change everything. The forest was dark and still. Kyle and the team stood frozen, staring at the strange figure that appeared from the shadows. It was not an animal or a monster. It was a small, glowing device hanging from a tree branch. The device blinked softly, sending out a quiet pulse. Kyle stepped forward carefully. He reached out and took the device in his hand. It felt warm, like it was alive. Laura looked around nervously. "What is it? A trap?" Kale shook his head. "No, it's a message. From someone, or something, that wants to talk." He pressed a button on the device, and a soft voice began to speak. The voice was strange, but calm and clear. "Deathworlders, your mask hides more than your face. You carry the power to save or destroy. But the true danger comes from within your own kind. Beware the shadows that walk without masks." The message ended, and the device went silent. Laura frowned. "What does it mean? Who sent this?" Kale's glowing eye narrowed. "It means there is a secret in the Deathworlders, a danger that we do not see." The team looked at each other, fear growing in their eyes. Kyle knew he had to act fast. He told the team to follow him deeper into the forest. They needed to find the source of the message and learn the truth. As they walked, the forest grew thicker. Strange noises surrounded them, soft whispers, rustling leaves, and the distant cries of unknown creatures. Suddenly, Kyle stopped. Ahead, hidden behind thick vines, was an old, ruined building. "This is not from this colony," Kyle said. "It looks ancient, like something from my home world." The team approached carefully. The building was covered in strange symbols, the same as those on the trees. Inside, the air was cold and heavy. Shadows moved along the walls, but no one spoke. In the center of the room was a large stone tablet. It was carved with pictures and words Kale recognized. He read aloud. The Deathworlders were once divided. Some chose to hide behind masks, others walked openly with power. But a great war broke their unity. Now only those who reveal their true selves will survive. Laura looked at Kyle. "Is this warning for us?" Kale nodded. "Yes. The mask is more than a cover. It hides fear, anger, and power. If we do not face this, the colony will fall. Suddenly the ground shook. The forest seemed to come alive with danger. Kale grabbed Laura's arm. We must leave, now. They ran out of the building as the shadows around them grew darker and louder. Outside, the colony was waiting, unaware of the storm coming. Kale knew the real battle had just begun. The mask was falling, and the truth was about to be revealed. The sun was setting over the colony, painting the sky with red and orange colors. But the peace was about to break. Kale stood in the middle of the town square. The people gathered around, curious and worried. Kale took off his mask slowly. The crowd gasped. His face was scarred and strange, but his eyes were strong and clear. "Have hidden my true self for too long," Kyle said in a loud voice. "The mask is not just for me. It is for all of us who fear what we really are." Some people whispered, scared and confused. Others looked at Kale with hope. Suddenly, a loud roar came from the edge of the colony. Dark shapes moved quickly. Toward the town, Kyle's heart beat fast. "The danger is here," he said. "The time to hide is over." The attackers were Deathworlders without masks, strong, wild, and angry. They wanted to destroy everything. Kyle stepped forward, his face now clear for all to see. He raised his hands, glowing with energy. "Fight with me," he shouted. The colony's defenders took their weapons and charged. Kyle's power grew stronger without the mask. He moved fast, striking the attackers with powerful blows. Laura fought beside him, brave and fierce. The battle was hard and loud. Dust rose and the ground shook. Slowly, Kale's side pushed the attackers back, but Kale knew the fight was not over. The mask had fallen, but the real test was just beginning. He looked at the crowd. "We must stand together, without hiding. Only then can we survive." The people nodded, their fear changing to courage. Kale smiled. For the first time, he felt hope. The mask was gone, but the true strength had only just begun. The night was dark, but the colony was awake. Everyone was on alert after the attack. Kyle stood on a small hill outside the town. His eyes shone like stars in the night. He knew the attackers would come again. This time he had to show his full power. Suddenly, the ground started to shake. The enemy was coming back, stronger and more dangerous. Kale did not hide anymore. He stepped forward and shouted a powerful command. The earth around him glowed with blue light. His hands crackled with energy. The attackers charged, but Kale was ready. He moved faster than anyone could see. His strikes were like lightning, strong and deadly. One by one, the Deathworlders fell. The colony's people watched in awe. They had never seen such power. Kyle's true strength was no longer hidden behind a mask. It was real and fierce. After the battle, Kyle turned to the people. "This is who we are," he said. "Strong, brave, and not afraid to fight for what is ours." The people cheered. They felt safe with Kale leading them. Kale smiled. The mask was gone forever, and with it the fear. Now the colony was ready for whatever came next. The sun rose slowly over the colony. The battle was over, but the feeling of fear stayed for some time. Kale walked through the streets. People looked at him with respect and gratitude. No one was afraid of him now. They saw him as their protector. But Kale knew the fight was not finished. The attackers had retreated, but they would return. He looked at the sky and thought about the Deathworlders. They were strong, but also proud. Kyle decided to visit the elders of the colony. He wanted to prepare everyone for the future. The elders welcomed him. They talked about the past and what the colony must do next. Kale shared his story, the truth about the mask and his hidden power. The elders listened carefully. They realized that hiding strength only brought danger. Together, they made a new plan. The colony would no longer hide behind fear. Kale promised to teach the people how to protect themselves, to be strong like him. The colony started to change. People trained and learned to fight. Kyle became a leader, not just by power, but by trust and hope. The mask was broken, but the spirit inside Kyle was stronger than ever. He looked out to the eye. horizon, ready for whatever would come next. The Deathworlders had learned one thing: never underestimate those who hide their true strength.